Good Thursday morning. I'm glad you're with us here on the Weather Desk. I'm Meteorologist Craig Moeller. I want to apologize. We've had some technical issues. I think they've been straightened out here with the computer system and the graphics board. At any rate, we're ready to give you what you need to know about the weather, and we've got a lot to go over with for today's edition of the Weather Desk. Finally, some rain for Hampton Roads. I am so excited that we finally have some significant rain. I also have the U.S. Drought Monitor update, and for Hampton Roads specifically, things have gotten worse. Now, that does not take into account the rain that we're getting now and the fact that the pattern is changing. We're going to see some more chances for much needed rain over the coming days, but you'll see in a few minutes here that the situation has gotten worse in terms of the drought conditions leading up to this morning's rain. And the rain that came in this morning has been significant. So a lot on that as we break things down over the coming half hour. National Severe Weather Wrap-Up, we've got you covered on that as well. There were numerous tornadoes down across the Deep South. We'll show you where those occurred and talk about some other dramatic weather across parts of the country. There is tree pruning by Dominion Energy ahead of the hurricane season. You know, this is Hurricane Preparedness Week. We'll also let you know what you should do when a storm's bearing down on the area and what you should do when you're riding the storm out as well. Some important safety tips to pass along concerning the hurricane season. We'll also have an update on the 2026 hurricane season outlook, and I've got your Mother's Day weekend outlook as well. So plenty to get into for this edition of the Weather Desk. Right now, though, we're focusing on the rain that is flying along the eastern seaboard, this much-needed rain. There was just expiring moments ago, about 5-6 minutes ago, we had a tornado, well, not a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado. That was the designation down across the southern part of Alabama. That is no longer in play, so that is good news. It's expired. Nothing came of that potential developing tornado, thank goodness. But heavy rain still down to the south. This is all part of the same system with the frontal boundary that is pushing through our area and producing the showers. And these areas, Georgia into South Carolina, in desperate need of rain. We're looking at now severe drought across much of our immediate viewing area. You can see the rain still falling across our region. And as we switch it over from this, you can see how things are moving along from west to east with a concentration of rain across the south side, Hampton Roads. And right now, out in Norfolk, you know, looking at this soggy start to our day, we find Jeremiah Beatty. She's been out in the Weather Impact Interceptor all morning monitoring the conditions on the roads. Jeremiah, things starting to improve right now around Norfolk. Still some light rain out there, but you've been out in it this morning. At times, it was really coming down. Tell us about it.
Hey there, Craig. So yes, we could definitely hear that rain hitting the truck in some parts this morning. Around 5 a.m. is where it really kicked off for us. So that was something to see. But today, stepping outside for many people out there, you will see a gloomy and rain-filled day. That's just the only way to describe it. Roads are wet. Your cars will be wet. You will be wet. So make sure you have your umbrella, rain boots, rain jacket, everything you need. But again, with all the rain that we're seeing, some roads, there's that standing water. It's always there, at least alongside the road. So you definitely want to be careful. I've seen a lot of people, you know, try to speed through this, but it's always good to take your time when you see that standing water. But as you can see now, it's about 9 o'clock. Roads are wet. There's still a lot of traffic out here, but if you're out, just make sure you are using your wipers, headlights, and your turn signals, and be sure to keep extra following distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. That's just to help with your reaction time. But yeah, it's been a pretty wet day. Like you can see, roads are wet. Again, it's pretty cold. We still have that rain coming down, but you know, Craig, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I think I heard you say Friday, Sunday, possible sunshine. We're looking forward to it. I know I need it.
We're going to get back to that sunshine for Friday, certainly, and I think much of Sunday looks pretty good as well. Some more rain chances. Before I let you go, though, Jeremiah, and I don't even know, who's your photographer? Who's actually driving right now with you?
We have Nia Stallings here.
So I'd be interested to hear their perspective as they're driving along right now, because it's been dry for so long. Sometimes when you get the rain, it mixes with some of the oil on the ground. Can you just ask them real quick if there's been any issues as far as, has the car gotten loose at all? Have you guys seen any hydroplaning, anything like that?
Yeah, Nia. So Craig wants to know: have you felt? Has the car been loose for you? Have you felt like hydroplaning? Have you had any difficulties?
Earlier this morning, I did.
She said earlier this morning she did. So we've been kind of really following the speed limit out here, just to keep that in mind, because that is always a concern anytime rain moves into the area. So that is something too everyone wants to be aware of, is just kind of take it easy, slow down, don't hit your brakes hard, just take it easy out there.
All right, Jeremiah, well, thank you, and thank you to Nia as well. Again, you're in an area where the rain's actually kind of tapered off, but earlier when those rains were really coming down, I'm sure there was some ponding out there. We're glad you guys are good. Come on back to the station and let's get you dry again. That's Jeremiah Beatty reporting live from the Interceptor. All right, we're going to take a look at where it's raining right now and where that rainfall's a little more intense. Right now, it's kind of light to moderate across the south side. Areas like Hickory and Great Bridge seeing some lighter rain. We've got some heavier pockets a little farther to the south. You look across northeast North Carolina. Let's take the radar full, because I want to get into this and show you some of the rainfall rates that we're still looking at down there. These areas shaded in orange coming down between 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch per hour. So some pretty heavy rain in some of these areas. There you go. Right now in Currituck County, there south of Moyock, you do have about 1 inch per hour. So there are some heavy pockets of rain still across northeast North Carolina. As we take a look at the precip, this is estimated by the radar. We do have some pretty intense rainfalls. So as we take a look, let's zoom in. I just want to give you a quick indication. Some of these areas shaded in green, we've had significant amounts of rain. Up around Fort Story, about 1 inch. You can see some heavy amounts out across areas in Southampton, just there to the northeast of Sebrule, almost 2 inches. Back across Isle of Wight, 1.8 inches. Northern parts of Suffolk, about 1.2 inches. In the downtown Norfolk area, we've also had some heavier rain. We've seen about 1/2 inch. Portsmouth has seen 0.9 inches. Parts of Chesapeake picking up about 1/3 to about 1/2 inch in some other areas. And then finally down into southern parts of Virginia Beach, you've also seen that kind of 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Heavier amounts down across North Carolina as well. Now, going forward, we're still going to have the potential to pick up some additional rainfall amounts, anywhere from, say, 1/4 to 1/2 inch across Norfolk. Additionally, in some areas with more rain still pushing through, heavier amounts potentially down to the south. And here's a look at some of the other models. Again, the additional amounts of rainfall coming down as a lot of the heavier stuff's moved through, but we could still see maybe another 1/2 inch to some higher amounts before all is said and done later this afternoon. It's one of those days you definitely need the umbrella. All right, we're also going to talk about the drought situation, and this is why it's so important we got the rain. This is the brand new U.S. Drought Monitor, and Norfolk is now under severe drought. Now, the rain that we've got will certainly knock into that. So that's good news. But this update's based on information that's compiled through the previous couple days, actually through Tuesday. So they, get it all together, and then they publish this every Thursday morning. And through Tuesday morning and Wednesday, we're now in severe drought. Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Northern Virginia Beach, all of the peninsula areas out to the west, and that severe drought's expanded as well to include the rest of Virginia. Really, you've got the extreme drought down to the south across North Carolina, more areas to the east of Charlotte under exceptional drought. They're still extremely dry down in the southeast. Again, this area's been hit with storms, and back across parts of the west, we've also seen that. Great Lakes region in better shape. We're finally getting some rain here. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the severe weather and a trail of destruction across parts of the South overnight. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. Severe weather breaking out across the deep south overnight. There was heavy rain, flooding, and tornadoes in several states. Reed Binion reports.
55 southbound. It's crazy.
Multiple tornadoes ripped through Mississippi overnight, leaving a trail of destroyed homes and injured victims in their wake.
That sucker came right through there, bro. We can't even get through here, bro.
One massive twister toppling trees and blocking parts of a highway.
It knocked all this down. Ain't no power lines or nothing like this way.
The storms also knocked down power lines, with tens of thousands of homes and businesses across Mississippi without power as of late Wednesday, according to poweroutage.us. Collapsed trees also blocking a roadway next to a hard-hit mobile home park. There were also reports of residents trapped, but dangerous conditions slowed rescue efforts, authorities said. The extreme weather impacted large portions of the South, including thunderstorms, and at one point a flood watch in place for more than 10 million people. Parts of Alabama saw severe flooding. In Montgomery Wednesday, the State House had to be evacuated because of flooding during local storms. This as other regions struggle to recover from severe weather in their communities.
Coming back in, we still had 6 inches of water around the house.
Residents in parts of Wisconsin picking up the pieces as water levels start returning to normal after last month's flooding.
At one point, there was 3 feet of water in there from looking at flood lines.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
All right, now I was taking a look at some of the storm reports that came in. You'll notice multiple tornado reports, damage with these severe storms down across portions of southern Mississippi. You can see several of those locations hit really hard. So we'll continue to keep an eye to their recovery. It's also Hurricane Preparedness Week. You know, the start of the hurricane season just a few weeks away. How Dominion Energy crews are preparing in Hampton Roads. Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Desk. You know, I mentioned going into the break, Hurricane Preparedness Week going on right now. And coming up, I'm going to have some important things to think about when you're preparing for a storm that is bearing down on the area and what to do when you're riding it out. But right now, with just a few weeks before the start of the season, Dominion Energy crews are preparing, and they are getting their forestry team out clearing lots of trees that were overgrown, 15 miles of overgrown trees. In fact, those trees and bushes that could threaten nearby power lines in Norfolk. Emily Harrison tagged along with the crews in Lafayette neighborhood.
Dominion Energy crews and contractors worked in 10-hour shifts in order to remove all of the overgrowth. Billy Nagy with Dominion Energy says crews do this every 4 years so they can prevent future power outages.
If we allow the vegetation to grow into the lines, it will cause outages on a bluebird day. So it's important that we keep up with it constantly.
Because if not, it can lead to situations like this. According to Dominion Energy, fallen trees cause more than 2/3 of all power outages and can even lead to electrical fires and severe injuries. Nagy says this happens occasionally when homeowners approach fallen trees, not realizing they are energized from a nearby power line.
If the vegetation makes contact with it, it can cause the power to go out. When that happens, we will come back out and re-energize the line, but we'll have to clear that vegetation first. And in doing that, it's going to prolong the outage, so the people will be without power for a longer amount of time.
The effort to clear this year's overgrowth comes right in the middle of Hurricane Preparedness Week. While Dominion Energy crews focus their efforts in Norfolk, Nagy says if you think you have a problem, give Dominion Energy a call right away. A surveyor will come out and assess the situation. Emily Harrison, 13 News Now.
So Dominion already on it, preparing, and as part of the Hurricane Preparedness Week, NOAA and the National Hurricane Center are putting out some important reminders. You know, as you are preparing for a storm to actually bear down on our region. This is not, things that you do in advance of the season, but when a storm is actually bearing down, you have to take steps to protect your home. That includes covering windows, securing doors and loose items. You need to determine sheltering options. This is when we are under a hurricane warning or tropical storm warning. And remember your pets. Also, you've got to ready your go bag, your meds and supplies. Keep everything charged and ready to go. And think about your neighbors. Follow evacuation orders when given. Of course, during storms, once it's on us, you have to stay in your safe places away from water and wind. You have to have a way to get weather alerts. Hopefully, you're able to tune into us. Of course, we are constantly broadcasting and streaming. We've got a backup place here, and we don't go down during these hurricane systems. We continue to always keep you informed. So stay with 13 News Now. Keep in mind that impacts can be felt far away from the coast, and listen to local officials. Avoid travel unless you're ordered to evacuate. Those are important reminders. And again, the hurricane season begins June 1st and runs through November. All right, here's a look at what CSU, Colorado State, is putting out. 13 named systems, 6 hurricanes and 2 major hurricanes. A quick reminder, though, all signs are pointing towards a super El Nino. And when that occurs, the Atlantic hurricane activity tends to be suppressed. So hopefully these numbers will be lowered with the next update. We're going to take another break. We'll have more right after this. All right, welcome back. We're still watching the wet weather across the region. A new thunderstorm warning down across the panhandle of Florida. We continue to watch that. This is the area likely to see severe weather. Could see a few hailstorms back down across southern Texas as well. But with the tornadic threat here across the Florida panhandle and that new warning there with a potential developing tornado down there around the panhandle, we need to continue to watch this area very closely. You can see the threat for tornadic development extends all the way to the southeast coast, and wind could be an issue as well. That is all south of our area. All right, we promised you a look ahead to the weekend. It looks like tomorrow's going to be beautiful. Saturday, partly cloudy. Could see a couple of stray showers. Mother's Day, beautiful in the morning, but clouds increase late. Could see a late day shower. I think we will see some into the evening. Today's rain knocks down the pollen levels. A little bit of relief there. As you can see, the rain that is out there will be pulling out. We'll see the last of the showers winding down. Clearing tomorrow, mostly sunny. Temperatures tomorrow will be in the low 70s. Warmer through the weekend and beautiful by the middle of next week. We'll see you next time from the Weather Desk.